Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 19/9/2022 newspaper sessions. So, today's session, as usual, will try to take up the issues and I'll give you certain aspects that you need to write down this. And I'll also give you time for certain articles to be read properly. So, the first issue is NSCN-IM to, to resume peace talks with the center. So I have been telling you from recent times that there are two organizations in Nagaland. One is National Socialist Council of Nagaland IM, that is Isaac Movia faction, and another one is Kaplang faction. Now these two factions, they are working separately, but within this NSCN IM, which is a major one, is ready to have talks with the central government. So they are demanding for including Naga's constitution within India's constitution, and they are also asking for a separate flag, including of Naga groups from the surrounding areas, and giving autonomous district councils to Nagas who are present elsewhere. But for the first time, now we are listening that they are willing to come to talks. So that is the first point. Two more PCCs seek Rahul's return. So not required. Karnataka rejects Kerala's two railway line. See, this is not a dispute between the two states, but actually the railway line, which is passing through the Western Ghats region and all, are eco-sensitive zones, and that's why Karnataka is saying no to that particular issue. Net direct tax kitty crosses 7 lakh crore. So, uh, this direct tax, when it increases, that means total income is increasing, jobs and other aspects are increasing. And the rise in that is a clear indication that, leakages have reduced and people are paying. So, nothing more than that. Now, let's come to editorial, guys. In editorial, yeah, geopolitics without geoeconomics, a fool's errand. This is by Happymon Jacob, who is actually talking about India is joining Quad. India is going into geopolitics of Indo-Pacific region. But India is not joining IPEF, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, and India is unfortunately not joining what we call as RCEP. This is because India is scared that if we enter into such things, China may predominate. It's not so important, but the terms, if you are aware, that's more than enough. Era of war is over. This was the talk between China and India, and I have given notes for this also. So, not to worry. Gender pay gap, hard truths and actions needed. So, I would say, pause this video and for 15 minutes, give time and try to read it once. So, this is to improve the language and nothing to do with the notes, not so important, but try to have this. Crisis in Caucasus. Okay. So, because there are two countries in Caucasus region, and where is this Caucasus region? If you open your atlas in Asia map, in between Caspian Sea on one side and Black Sea on the other side, with, between these two, you have Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia. There will be three countries which will be present in this region, guys. All these three countries were part of Soviet Union, USSR, earlier. And at that time, Nagorno Karabakh, right? There is a place by name Nagorno Karabakh. This has Armenian people and it was part of Azerbaijan during Soviet Union era. Fine. Later, what happened when Soviet Union disintegrated? This Armenian majority province went to Armenia, but Azerbaijan says it is mine. So the fight always occurs. Armenia is supported by Russia, Azerbaijan is supported by Turkey. So recently, by the time Russia entered into the war and tried to reduce the war, Azerbaijan had taken more areas. So now again, Azerbaijan has been on offensive and it is trying to kill the people. So I just want you to have in your notes, like it's a factual data, guys. It has nothing to do with India, but geographically it may be asked. Nagorno Karabakh region. You can write in your notes Nagorno Karabakh region hyphen part of Armenia, part of Armenia, 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 claimed by claimed by Azerbaijan, claimed by Azerbaijan. Yes. So next, guys, a disruptive nexus of China and Pakistan. Yes, this is a very good article, but it is not with respect to India. This is with respect to China and Pakistan. So this article tries to tell us how China and Pakistan always work together right from 1960s. So this says that recently there are terrorists present in Pakistan which China is not opposing them in United Nations Security Council. So Lashkar-e-Taiba and other leaders, India wants to call them as global terrorists, but China is supporting them. And second important thing, Pakistan is getting direct support from China with respect to military as well. So this article tries to tell where all, for example, China gave Pakistan nuclear weapons technology, China gave Pakistan short range missiles, China is giving Pakistan money for CPEC without India's intervention. So China has taken several lands of Jammu Kashmir. So all these have been given. Not so important, guys. In history, you will read them. So you can leave it. Darul Uloom supports survey of madrasas, issues advisory. So it's a good thing that religious leaders are being part of these aspects. Okay, there is a protest in Chandigarh about a leak of video, guys. LG open cinemas in Pulwama and Shopian is a good indication of peace process that is happening, but nothing to write from them. Leaders in UK, you're aware about it. Insurgency down in Northeast, army shifts to LAC. Very, very important, guys. Nothing to write, but I want you to be aware about it. So, what exactly is this? See, guys, in entire Northeast India, especially in states like Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, and all, There were few organizations which were always trying to counter India by saying that they want to be a separate country. And many times India has tried its level best to bring this down. And India had sent its army by giving Armed Forces Special Powers Act. And now the army itself is saying that there is no need of army in the region because, insurgency has reduced. Now army wants to shift it to line of actual control with China rather than staying in the northeast and want Assam rifles to take over the specific one. So I want you people to know that in internal security, one issue is Jammu Kashmir, second issue is Naxalism, but third issue is Northeast insurgency. So in internal security, I want you to write, army is shifting from northeastern states as insurgency has reduced. As insurgency has reduced. Several teams have several teams have shifted to line of actual control. Line of actual control. Next paragraph. NSCNIM NSCNIM is also in talks with the central government. Is also in talks with the central government. Full stop. As peace process continues and insurgency reduces, AFSPA can be removed completely can be removed completely from northeast. Guys, just one thing. Savar, Savara, and Saundra, one and the same tribe now. This is for them, but just remember, even if spelling changes, these people have to face a lot of issues. This is the story they have given where, just because one word was added and another word was not added, so they were not considered STs. So now, under the new thing, they are also part, is what it is trying to argue, guys. Punjab farmers demand aid to stop stubble burning. Because this is a time when Punjab farmers shift from rice to wheat. At that point of time, they normally burn the remaining parts of the crop. But this leads to several impacts in what we call as Delhi and all. So, Supreme Court has clearly mentioned that the alternatives must be seen for stubble burning, and that is affecting the health of Delhi people. So Punjab people are now asking that, please give us some additional income so that we will look for alternatives to stubble burning. So let us see, as our government is there in both the sides, will it benefit? Kino Arcad shrink, price of fruit set to rise. Yes, the production has actually decreased mainly because of polluted water. Here it is a clear cut indication for us today that when groundwater is polluted, what is going to happen? Like, you cannot get good yield beyond a point. And unfortunately, in some parts of Punjab, Haryana, the factories are spoiling because of addition of chemicals, right? And that is also leading to issues. Nothing much to write, guys. That's why I'm not giving you. So, yes, there is an earthquake in Taiwan, and Taiwan is similar to Japan, where you have several plate boundaries, especially between Philippines, like Eurasian and Indo-Pacific. In geography, you will be reading, guys. There are different plate boundaries. Wherever they converge, there is possibility of earthquakes, and near Taiwan also it would have been the case. So just remember, Taiwan had earthquake, nothing much. So after this, it's sports, guys. So nothing much to look into these aspects. The ban on the export of broken rice. So, guys, normally this article is trying to talk about how the ban on export of rice may support India's ethanol blending program because that can be used to manufacture the ethanol. So, should we go for these things because of Russia Ukraine war and all? Oil prices are increasing. So, should we go for alternatives? And recently we found that ethanol blended oil is actually used in aircraft as well, like that is Air Force as well. This group of lists I have already given, guys. If you want, you can read them again. The process of inclusion or exclusion from the scheduled tribes list. So, this is about the book, nothing to read, guys. So, thank you. Thanks a lot.